Welcome to D20 Woodworking, and today they announced a new scenario pack. Uh, just glancing at it, I haven't read it yet. Looks like my worst nightmare. Absolute terrible nightmare. But it is going to be done by Michael Boggs as a guest designer. They brought him out of retirement, I guess, kind of. But it's going to be done by Michael Boggs, who I love. I think he's done absolutely phenomenal work in this game. So I'm excited for it, even though this looks like my nightmare. It's just straight nightmare. So anyway, let's go take a look at the preview article. All right, first and foremost, do me a huge favor, make sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, leave a comment, all that fun stuff. If you're listening to this on the podcast, make sure you follow along, leave a review, a 5-star review, hopefully. All that stuff really helps out the channel a lot, and I really appreciate it. And if you haven't yet, join my Patreon, patreon.com/D20 Woodworking. It's free to join. You can check it out. And then there's paid stuff as well that you get extra stuff, but there is basic things at the free level. All right. Trickster Takeover, announcing a new scenario pack for Marvel Champions. Villains come in all shapes and sizes, and some are large and brutish, and others themselves are surround themselves with like-minded minions. Some of the most dangerous villains, however, are the ones that are cunning and trickery to manipulate the world to their whim. So what if two of them team up? My worst nightmares. So they're doing the Trickster Takeover scenario. It's a 78 card scenario pack designed by Michael Boggs. It has two brand new scenarios featuring the Enchantress and Loki. Oh boy. Okay. Two conniving villains with don't get me wrong. I like the theming of this. Like, the theming's cool. So I'm giving it a hard time just how much I hate Loki, and Enchantress ruins all my Valkyrie games. So you'd be teaming up for new in addition to being able to play these scenarios in traditional standalone way, thank goodness, the Loki God of Light scenario can also be played in a brand new epic multiplayer, a Marvel Champion first. Also include a special modular encounter set featuring enthralled minions that you can recruit to your side, which is pretty interesting. Can you survive this brutal battle of wits? So it's interesting that they're doing it as a standalone scenario. I assume the epic multiplayer mode is something that they work together, but I have no idea. I haven't read this article yet, so I have no idea. To kick off the shenanigans, the heroes must face off the Enchantress, the charming and manipulative Asgardian mystic. More Asgard stuff in the future, hopefully. Enchantress. She has 132 cards, 15 hit points. This is stage 1. She's a 2/1 stat line. Force response. After she attacks you, place 1 charge counter on the enchantment card in your player. So hopefully we'll learn about that. Right off the bat, Enchantress hits the heroes with her hypnotic gaze during scenario setup. So that states it's a permanent attachment. Interesting. Her card stat line on the bottom, Enchantress, is question mark at a 32. Which is interesting. I wonder why they're doing that. Your identity gains the Defiant trait. If there are 5 or more charm counters here, let's go by the same token. Remove each charm counter and flip this card over. So there are 5 different copies of this card. There we go. Each with a different enchantment on the opposite side, and you don't know what one you're dealing with until it flips. While still in hypnotic gaze, your identity gains the Defiant trait, representing your hero is resisting Enchantress's temptations. After the gaze doesn't have charms, such as from her attacks or through cards like her crown, which is a attachment for scheming, 16 out of 32. It's Crown of the Enchantress. Attached to Enchantress, in expert mode, she also gains Stalwart. After she schemes against you, place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card on your player. Here action, each player exhausts their identity and takes 1 damage to discard this card. Oh, so that's weird that it scales on multiplayer, huh? Interesting. All right, or an enthralled lackey. It's a 2/1/3 stat line. Quick strike. After this minion attacks you, place 1 charm counter. Okay, so he's going to quick strike and right into a charm counter. Boost. Choose to either place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card in your player or confuse your identity. Okay. Then it will flip to its trance side, giving you the enthrall trait. Each trance side enchantment hits you with immediate effect when it's revealed, and also possesses a unique forced action. This is a special type of action you have to perform before you can end the player phase, though you can choose a moment to do so. Okay. For example, the Trance of Greed. So it's attachment, permanent. You gain enthralled. When revealed, you are confused, otherwise take 2 damage. Force action. Exhaust this card to draw 1 card, then play that card paying its cost. If you cannot, take a damage. So that's interesting. Like, you get to draw something, but you have to play it. So you have to do the thing. So it has a force action, lets you draw a card and force you to immediately play the card, or else take damage if you can't. That's actually a really interesting way of doing things. You have to perform this action before the player phase ends, but you could wait to perform it until your hand is empty, so you won't have to waste any resources on a drawn card, assuming you have the hit points to spare. Or you could draw the card early in your turn, hoping it's something you want to play. Similarly, Trance of Wrath, permanent enthralled, search top 5 cards from the deck for a card from the encounter deck and reveal it. That's what I want revealed. Force action, exhaust this card, take 1 indirect, and deal 2 damage to a minion, which is interesting. Which also letting you do. Wait. Oh, yeah, because before the arrow, it's everything. After the arrow, okay. Careful playing, you can choose when to trigger these actions and get the most out of their effect while mitigating the cost. That's a really. I've always said this on this channel. I really want interesting decisions where like it's not 100% negative. Like give me some options and like maybe it's like 60% negative but 40% positive, right? Give me those interesting choices, and that's pretty cool way of doing things. In addition to the force action on the trance side, they would give you enchantment attachment, which also determine how the Enchantress's other cards affect you. So do my bidding. It's a treachery card. And when revealed, if your identity has a defiant trait, choose one. If your identity has the enthralled trait, do both in any order. So one is search the encounter deck and discard pile for a minion, reveal it. The other is search the encounter deck and discard pile for a side scheme and reveal it. Oh, jeez. So don't be enthralled. You have Spell Blast with Treachery, same exact thing, right? Defiant, you choose one, Enthralled, you do both. So the Enchantress with Scheme with +1 Scheme in Expert mode, or she attacks you with +1 attack in Expert mode. I like how they're scaling Expert mode here. It's pretty well done. Or Spellbound, which has crazy good artwork. That feels like it doesn't belong though. Like it's like really good artwork. Like all the artwork on this is like fine. It's like your classic comic book stuff. But Spellbound looks like one that doesn't belong, but it looks really good. 4, it's a side scheme. 4 threat gets put on. When defeat, each player whose identity has a defiant trait places 1 charms counter on the enchantment card in their player area. Each player whose identity has the enthralled trait discards a card they control. It's got the crisis or the exclamation point on it, so you can't remove threat from the main scheme. So then you have minions like the enthralled brute, 1, 2, 4 stat line with a guard. While this minion is engaged with the player, when engaged with a player whose identity has the enthralled trait, this minion gets +3 hit points. Boost card effect is choose to either place 1 charm counter on the enchantment card. All right, so we're doing a lot with the charms. Cinder is a 1/4/6 stat line, elite giant, deals indirect damage, so important to note. If your identity has the defiant trait, Cinder activates against you. If they have the enthrall trait, you give Cinder a tough status. So that's the one reveal effect, which is interesting. On top of all, if you have the enthrall trait, then every charm counter you would gain ends up as threat in the main scheme. Okay, so prime real estate is the 1B main scheme scenario with 6 threat threshold per player. One threat per player is put on each time. 1 per player starts on it. Force interrupt, when a charm counter would be placed on the enchantment card in the player. If your identity is the enthrall trait, place 1 here. Pretty cool. Interesting way to do it. Trickster magic. Before we preview the second scenario, it's only fitting we talk about the special encounter that comes with the Trickster magic. So this represents the Trickster villain's powers at work, going all the trouble they go to stir up the heroes. This range from tricky side schemes like Trickster Tango, also good artwork. 4 threat in the main scheme, or I'm sorry, this side scheme. The villain gains Stalwart, which they explain can't be stunned or confused. It's funny that they're explaining it at this point, but sure. 2 acceleration icons and boost if this activation attack gains overkill. Okay. Love triangle. Attachment. Attached to an ally you control, otherwise card gains surge. Attached ally cannot attack the villain or defend against the villain's attacks. Alter ego action, exhaust attached ally and spend a mental resource to get rid of this card. Okay, so you can still do minions and thwart stuff, so that's interesting. However, the highlight says the 4 enthralled minions. Absorbing Man, let's go. Okay, 2/17 stat line. They made him a little tricky. Guard with victory 1. He's a brute, elite, enthralled. While he's engaged with you, he gets +X attack, where X is the printed cost of the highest cost card you control. Hey, they made the Absorbing Man more interesting. When defeated, the player who defeated this minion puts the set aside Absorbing Man ally into play under their control. Oh, interesting. Huh. So it has Titania. There's a 1/3/8. She gains overkill, steady. You defeat this, you put the aside, so you can get them on your side, which is interesting. Whirlwind, 216 stat line. With Quick Strike, after Whirlwind attacks you, take 1 indirect damage for each side scheme in play. Again, if you defeat it, they go into play on your side. This is Zax. 126, Retaliate. 1. When revealed, discard top 4 cards of your deck. For each printed energy resource, take 1 indirect damage. So each of these minions is a foe, but not exactly working with Enchantress or Loki of their own free will. If you manage to knock them back to their senses, they will team up with you. So yeah, there's Absorbing Man Ally, which is a 3/1/1/3 stat line, Defiant, 2 consequential per attack. It's a linked card. Does not count against your ally limit. When Absorbing Man attacks or thwarts, exhaust an upgrade or support you control. Absorbing Man gets plus X to that power, where X is the printed cost, to a maximum of 3. Well, that's interesting. Okay, so, oh boy, now we're like in a weird screen. There we go. So that's interesting that you will defeat them. That's gonna be a fun mod set to like throw into things. Like it'll be like tough for the minions, but you have a good minion slayer and you get free allies. That sounds good. So if dealing with the Enchantress, our heroes will have a little breath before they go to Loki. Yay. As we mentioned earlier, this scenario marks the introduction of a brand new epic multiplayer mode for the game. Loki's avatars have spread across the globe, and their heroes must work together like never before to shatter the mischievous god's illusions. It's an illusion, Michael, and bring him down once and for all. To start things off, we have the primary villain card, Loki, God of Lies. Okay, so it's a null stat line, 20 hit points. If Loki, God of Lies has 10 life per player or fewer remaining, you flip this card. So, oh my god. Okay. So when you flip this card, this is the true Loki, and the one everybody currently participating in the scenario needs to defeat in order to win. Sounds simple, right? Except nothing is what it seems with the master Trickster. And he has no qualms of breaking the game's normal rules. No matter what you do, you cannot directly attack or damage Loki, God of Lies, at any time. Okay. This is thanks to Worlds Collide. So, oh boy, okay. This is just a B scenario. It's not like a 2B or anything. So it's got a threshold of 2 per player 3 times, I think. So each per player icon on Loki, God of Lies, counts the total number of players in all game areas. So each triple icon on this scheme counts to the total number of groups in all pods. Cards cannot affect the scheme or Loki, God of Lies, unless they refer to those cards by title. And if this stage completed, they lose the game. And it starts with a null and increases by a null. I have no idea what that sentence means. Hopefully they explain. A unique main scheme shared by all player groups, which not only prevents anyone from damaging Loki, but also prevents any threat from being removed from itself. The only way you're going to be able to damage Loki is to shatter the illusion. It's an illusion. And to do that, you're going to have to fight off his various avatars. Okay. I don't know if that's really what that main scheme was telling me. I feel like each per player icon on Loki, God of Lies, counts the total number of players in all game areas. Okay. Each triple icon in this game counts the total number of groups in all pods. I don't know what that is. Okay. There are 4 different avatars of Loki. Loki the Rascal, which is a 1/1/15 stat line. Force response: after you resolve a boost card during Loki the Rascal's activation, if that card is a treachery, either deals yourself as a face down encounter card or spend 1 resource of any type. Force interrupt: when this villain would be defeated, place 5 per player shatter counters here and flip this card instead. All right, so next one is Loki the Miscreant, and it's the same exact artwork, just colored slightly differently. He's a 1/2 stat line with 15 life. After you resolve a treachery card, place 1 threat in the main scheme and a 1 threat on the side scheme. Again, when they would be defeated, place 5 per player shatter counters here and flip this card instead. They have another one, same exact artwork, just different one, and it's Loki the Rascal's A1, B1 is Loki the Miscreant, C1 is Loki the Knave. 2/1/15 stat line: after you resolve a treachery, deal 1 damage to your identity and 1 damage to an ally you control. Again, the whole force interrupt: when the villain would be defeated, do the 5 shatter counters. Loki the Wretch is D1. Again, a different color scheme. 1/1/15 stat line: when Loki the Wretch activates against you, discard the top card of the encounter deck. If it's a treachery card, he gets +1/+1 for this activation. Okay. Oh, okay, now it's different. Okay, that's a lot of Lokis. Each player group has to deal with their own batch of these 4 avatars, facing off against a randomly chosen avatar Loki that gets swapped out for every other time you manage to defeat one. Okay. As you fight your avatar Loki, you'll build up shatter counters on it through defeating side schemes like lofty goals. Comes in with 5 threat, 1 defeat, place 2 shatter counters on the avatar of Loki villain. And has an acceleration icon. Or minions like Grendel. Okay, 1/6, guard, brute, dark elf. When Grendel attacks, discard top 3 cards in counter deck. For each treachery, you get +1, or he gets +1 attack. Place 3 shadow counters on avatar of Loki villain. Or Malekith, 2/5, retaliate. After he attacks you, discard a top card in counter deck. If that card is a treachery, deal to yourself face down as a counter card. Place 2 shadow counters when you defeat it. Okay. Each time your group manages to defeat an avatar Loki, it will gain a surge of shadow counters and flip to its fading figment side. Okay, so it's A2. It's a null card. When revealed, shatter the illusion. See the set aside shatter the illusion card. Choose a group in your pod, then place synergy counters on the. Oh my god. Okay. Choose a group in your pod, then place synergy counters on their unified front environment equal to the number of players in their group. Okay. Shattering the illusion. Oh, it's a whole separate card. Okay. When a fading figment is revealed, follow the steps to shatter Loki's illusion. Remove each shatter counter from fading figment, then deal damage to Loki, god of lies, equal to the number of shatter counters removed this way. Okay. Swap the fading figment and play with a random set aside villain avatar. Okay. Then set the hit point dial to the avatar Loki villain that's printed hit point. Deal each player face down a counter card, of course. This in effect lets you deal damage to Loki, god of lies, based on the number of shatter counters you built up. Your group then gets a new random Loki of death to deal with, and the fight continues as before. So now you know how to damage the real Loki, but the odds are still stacked against you. After all, Loki's plan is to affect the entire globe, and with him raising a mischief and mayhem, it's a 1B main scheme, 8 threat per player. When the scheme would be complete, remove all threat and place 1 threat on Worlds Collide instead. Oh, that's the other one. Okay. When an identity would be defeated, change the identity's form to alter ego. Set its hit point to 1 and place 1 threat on Worlds Collide. Starts with 0, goes up 1 by player. Okay. Every raising in every player group. Just one slip up in the heroes could swing momentum back in the Trickster's favor. Fortunately, defeating Avatar Loki also has some synergy counters onto one of the 4 special synergy environments. These cards represent the heroes from around the world working together to take Loki down, and they provide some pretty powerful benefits. All right, Domineering Force environment. Okay, this is a permanent synergy card. Max 1 synergy per player synergy counter here. When a friendly character attacks, remove 1 synergy counter from here. That attack deals 4 additional damage. Okay. Then there's Unified Front, which is like the same exact thing, but you can generate 2 wild resources. Okay, so you get synergy count. All right, so you get synergy counters and they give you benefits. So each player group has their own copies of these environments to work with. And when you're playing an epic multiplayer mode, you could choose any group in your pod. I don't know what that means. I don't know what pod is. We just threw out a new term. It's not in the rule book. In your pod to grant synergy counters when you defeat Loki. Of course, not like Loki himself is just going to sit there and wait for you to win. When he drops to half health, he flips over to his second stage. Of course he does. Loki, God of Lies, null, 20 life per player. When revealed, each group in standard mode attaches their set aside intense focus of the avatar Loki villain in their game area. Each group in expert mode flips their intense focus to its total focus side. If Loki, God of Lies defeat, all players win. Okay. Triggering his intense focus. It's a 1/1 attachment. He gets +2 hit points and gains steady per player. In standard mode, discard the top 2 per player cards from the encounter deck and the top 5 cards of each player deck. Oh boy. Okay. All right. Fishing for the Dark Scepter. Treacheries cannot be canceled, which is interesting. +1 attack. After you resolve a treachery, spend 2 resources of the same type to discard this card. All right. Both intense focuses. Okay. Holy cow. I don't know what a pod is. I like that entire thing. Like a pod, like was pod not explained like at all? Wait, did they really only use the word pod once in the article? Each player group. So wait, is it supposed to be like you can play insane amounts of players, like 16, let's say? So I guess the idea is you can have 4 people against one Loki, 4 people against another Loki, 4 players against another Loki. And your 4 player group is a pod, I would assume. I assume that's what this means by pod. I have no idea. That did not explain much to me. That's incredibly confusing. So wait. Let's go back to the beginning of this. Oh, I clicked the wrong one. So worlds collide. Okay. Is 2 threat per pod. Now, as a solo player or a group of 4 players in one pod, that's a 2, right? If we were playing with 8 people, I assume that, or like 6 people, you could say, right? A 3 and 3 pod. That would be like the additional on it, right? 4. So each per player icon Loki represents the total number of players in all game areas. Okay, I think I'm getting now. Each pod icon in this scheme counts the total number of groups in all pods. I think that's what it is. That makes the most logical sense to me, but man, that's weird to wrap my head around at first. Okay, so we hopefully understand pods. Cards cannot affect the scheme of Loki the God of Lies unless they refer to. Okay, that's fine. So, all right, every time I defeat a Loki, like the fake Lokis, I get 5 shatter counters and I flip the card. And when I flip the card, shatter the illusion. When revealed, shatter the illusion. See the set aside shatter the illusion card. So then we flip it. We have to go to the shatter the illusion card, which then states remove each shatter counter from fading figment, which is what we just flipped, and then deal damage to Loki, God of Lies, equal to the number of shatter counters removed this way. So let's just say 5 for now. So we do 5 to Loki. We defeat 4 of them, right? We get the swap the fading figment, which is the face down card, and play with a random set aside Loki face up, then set the hit point dial, the avatar death Loki to its permanent hit points. So, and then deal each player face down counter card. So if you have 4 pods, I assume each pod has a different Loki. So like if you finish your pod Loki, like what happens? You just sit around? Like I don't understand that part. Like for a small group, it makes sense because you can keep going through. But like I guess for everyone else, like you're just like cheering on that other group. I don't know. So when the scheme would be complete, remove all threat here, place the 1 threat in worlds collide. That makes sense because the limit's 2, assuming you're playing solo to 1 pod. And identity would be defeated. Change the identity's form to alter ego. It says hit point dial to 1 and place 1 threat on the worlds collide. This is interesting. And I can see why they did this because if you have a group of 16 people and like, some jabronis playing Maria Hill and then Maria Hill just gets one-shotted because she's super weak. I had to. Then everyone, like the game would be ruined, right? So that's interesting the way they do that. Okay. So we get those, we flip it. Now, what you can also do is things like Lofty Goal. If you defeat it, which is the size game, place 2 shadow counters on the Avatar Loki villain, which is. Wait, which one's the Avatar Loki? Loki the Rascal. Oh, that's whatever one you're dealing with. I assume it's one you're dealing with. The main one is also the Avatar of Loki. So it's kind of confusing. Wait, is it? Why is it not coming up here? Loki. Oh, because it's the wrong thing. No, it's just Asgard Mystic. Okay. So he has 10 or fewer life. Flip this card. That does the whole thing. Okay. So if you defeat the side scheme or these certain minions, you place extra shatter counters on your thing. So if we beat Grendel, right, who's a 1/16 stat line minion, we put 3 on Loki, the fake Loki. We put another 5, which gives us 8 counters. And then we be able to get that much closer to flipping to like the real Loki, right? Okay. I got it. It took me a while, but I'm there. I'm finally there. Okay. It took me. I like what Enchantress is doing. Enchantress is very simple. Not very simple. I mean, I don't want to make it sound simple, but like I get it, right? I get Enchantress. I think what they're doing with the charm thing is pretty interesting. I think the Trickster magic is really fascinating. What they're doing with like you defeat a minion and it becomes your ally. That's a really cool idea. I really like that. This Loki thing, I still hate Loki. This Loki thing, assuming it works how I just explained it, and I think I got it now. it's a cool idea, right? It's a really cool idea. I have no idea how this is going to work in practice. I can't wrap my head about trying to predict this for the future of how this is going to work in practice. I really can't. I think it would be fine. I actually think it makes less sense in pods. Like I get why they're doing pods because they want to like, Con of Heroes is a big event. Like you can play this at Con of Heroes or Gen Con or something like I get why they're doing what they're doing. But if you have again 4 pods of 4, right? And the first pod just like smashes their Loki, like the A1 version, or like what happens to them? Right? Like Kang at least kind of brought people together and like worked them when they were like separated. And again, we don't know all the cards. So maybe it does do that. We just don't know yet. Um, but it's definitely interesting in the way they're doing it. I think the goal really is to like lead into like minion slaying though. Like if you want to exploit this as a solo player, lean into minion slaying and like get like one of the side schemes out. Because if you could put 5 on there from a minion and a side scheme and then knock out that Loki, that's 10, which already flips the main Loki, and you're halfway there, right? So that's the way to kind of like look at it to me. So it's a very fascinating approach. It's very, very fascinating. It's interesting that you can't lose by dying either, which is interesting too. I feel like that has some issues for Deadpool though. Because Deadpool likes to die, but he can't die then because Worlds Collide like triggers really fast. So a Deadpool character is gonna be rough, which is just why you should never really play Deadpool. Sorry, that's a side note. Anyway, I can't even like really imagine. Like I can imagine how this is gonna work like a little, but I don't fully understand how this is gonna work. So I'm gonna hold all like real critiques of this until like I get it in hand. But I want to say this. Uh, please come back, Michael Boggs. Please come back. Please just whatever you're doing, just work remote or something. I don't know. Or just come out with scenario packs, preferably Spider-Man stuff. I know you love Spider-Man. Make Spider-Man hero packs and scenario packs. Please, I'm begging you. This is so out of the box interesting to me. Like, there is so much going on. And this is what always made Michael Boggs' designs to me like super fascinating, is that you saw me struggle through this, like thinking this through. And now that I've thought it through and I understand the pieces like connect, man, it seems really fascinating how it's going to work. And I can see how like it's going to do its thing. I mean, I can't 100% see it, but I get the general gist of it. This is like what I want, right? Marvel Champions, like this is phenomenal. This is really cool stuff, and I really like this. I like the options with Enchantress of the kind of trade-offs they were giving you, right? That was Enchantress, right? Yeah. With the whole the attachment, right? That making you enthralled. Like that's a cool idea that it could work for you, but maybe not type of thing. That you have to do the action at some point, but you can choose when to do the action. Like this is the type of thinking that like I love about this game. And this is what to me makes Michael Boggs such a phenomenal designer and why I wish he never left. I mean, it's really cool. Like it's a really cool idea. Now, maybe I'll get it and I'll just be like, wow, this is really easy to game and destroy and whatever. Maybe, but I've always said in this channel, I value them trying to push the box, push the envelope, I should say, not the box, push the envelope, right? If something like this exists in Lord of the Rings or Arkham Horror, I don't really know of it that well. Maybe it does, but this is like fascinating, right? Like this feels like a really new, fresh, and different idea, man. It's super solid. Like it's super solid ideas. So who knows how the villains will actually be? I'm excited to try them out. I actually really like the modular set too. It'd be interesting to see if the modular set, like Trickster Magic, actually gives some life to like Thor and Valkyrie, not because they're bad, because they're obviously goated, but because like they want to defeat minions and now we get more allies, right? And maybe these allies help us out. Like we only know of Absorbing Man's ally card, which is pretty decent, right? Especially since they have some expensive upgrades or support. So Absorbing Man can get like stacked. But yeah, it'd just be interesting to see like kind of where that goes, right? And it's a cool idea, right? That's a really cool idea that the mod sets are basically gonna have 4 villains that can end up on your side. Like that's a really fascinating idea. So yeah, shout out to Michael Boggs on this. Like honest to God, like this is just it's good ideas through and through. So I'm really hyped for this. I'm really excited. we'll see how it actually plays, because that's gonna be the final critique of how it actually plays. I'm excited to jump into it. Like I said, let me know your thoughts down below in the description, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can join the Patreon for free, and I post it up there so that you can all discuss it if you really want to in the free section. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm really, really excited. I think this is a cool idea. I think it's different to D20. D20's not the smartest guy in the world, so it takes him a little bit to wrap his head around it. But once we got there, I think we got there. So, but yeah, this is really cool. Big shout out to Boggs and the whole team, because I assume he works with other people too. I'm sure it's not just a one man effort. Maybe it is. I don't know. We'll see when I get the book. But like, subscribe, comment, follow the podcast, all that fun stuff. I really appreciate it. I'll see you all next time.